Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for coming in, listening to our Beer Talks episode 2.5, which is basically a continuation of our previous episode, since somebody really got into talking about their jobs. Not that that's a problem, of course. We greatly appreciate people sharing. And apparently, in Beer Talks, we overshare too. So, without further ado, today's beer of the day is our subject topic person's beer of the beer of the ever, I guess. Is this your beer go-to beer, right, Stan?
Yeah. Like if I'm just like in a random bar or something and I'm like, I don't really know what to drink, you can never go wrong.
Right. With
With Mill Street Organic.
That's right.
Woo.
Are you guys pouring one now, or are you
Man,
still
listen, I'm drinking from the can, but what I have done in effort to kind of bring myself up to John's level is I did order a not cup, but like I don't know what it's called, like pint.
Ah,
Oh, it's
right.
like the fancy one
Yeah.
with legs.
No, not with
No.
like it's like a regular glass pint that you usually drink beer out of. It's like thicker glass, so it's not like super thin like drinking glass. So anyway, that's on the way.
Nice.
Yeah, but the thick part, the thickness of it makes it so it doesn't warm up when you touch it
Yes.
so much.
Yes, it's a beer glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did think about that and I did order it, and so I guess at some point I will also be pouring beer. So Addy, catch up.
I mean,
Oh, pressure's on.
my level of, you make it sound like my tier of beer is that much higher when I'm literally just pouring it on a glass. In any case,
Listen.
let's not pour
Cheers.
on further. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, you know what? I haven't had a Mill Street Organic for a long time. Actually, since the pandemic started. This is very nostalgic.
It's actually pretty good.
Like light, easy, like clean,
Clean,
right?
smooth,
Yeah,
refreshing,
yeah. All the good words.
uplifting, bright.
For some
You know what?
reason-
I can see. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. For some reason, I feel like this tastes like soup to me. This feels like chicken soup to me for some reason.
It's like comforting.
Yeah.
You know what it is? I honestly think it's because like I used to drink this so much at bars, like after work and stuff. Like it's always just it brings back such a I think comforting feeling to be like, hey, like I'm in a safe space. I can like should talk about my job to my coworkers,
That's
you know,
amazing.
and then it's like off office hours, right? I don't know. I feel like this is such a great go-to. Yeah. And I think Mill Street's from Ontario, right?
Yes, I think so.
My memories of Mill Street is usually, this is the go-to beer for when you go cottaging,
Oh yeah.
like during winter times especially.
Oh yeah, I can totally see that.
Yeah.
I like that I like the weedy flavor to it, and it's not like a gross grass weedy flavor, but there's a bit of a wheat flavor to it.
I mean, yeah, I imagine it's like some part of the barley or the hops or whatever wheat that they use. But yeah, we would go, which is funny now because it's like minus 26 outside,
So cold.
and it just hit me up with that flash flood of reminiscing about those times, which was good times, happy days.
So this is just a beer of nostalgia, is what I'm hearing.
Mhm. For everybody except Addy, I guess.
Except I got a question for y'all, because I actually don't know, even though this is my go-to beer. What makes this beer organic? Like what makes other beers not organic? Do you know?
I imagine
That's a
the
Question. I was thinking that too.
I imagine it's the plants, because like when they usually say organics, like how it was raised, right? Like how they grew the plant, like they didn't take like pesticides or whatever, I think. And like the ingredients, I believe, how they did it, and the ingredients that they use are all organically grown without any like chemicals, and they didn't do any lab, science experiments, right?
Like didn't grow new
Exactly,
new plants out of the wheat. I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah, they were just they did it all like just through ingredients and natural osmosis, and the whole charade, the whole 9 yards.
The whole charade. All right.
Yes.
Well,
Right.
anyway, this is my beer pick.
Mhm.
I personally really like this beer. I'm not very fancy with beer, I guess.
I'd beg to differ. I
So,
think Mill Street is pretty fancy, but go
is
on.
it
I think so.
Mill Street is a little
Oh.
bit hipstery.
I think so.
really?
I
Okay,
think it's like
so
typewriter kind of, like 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 Harry Potter glasses, typewriter, like a bed sheet for a scarf kind of, trench coat. Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm talking about.
All right,
Yeah,
hipster chic, hipster
exactly.
chic.
Hipster chic. That's right. Yeah.
Got it.
As I'm drinking this, all I can think of is like, oh man, if I had like a big bowl of like steam mussels next to me, that'd be great.
Yeah. Oh man,
Right. Seafood stuff.
seafood
I mean,
stuff.
right.
Calamari.
It's a lager, right? So, like, remember, lager is 5 letters, and white in wine is also 5 letters, and white wine usually goes with
Water. It's also 5 letters.
white wine usually goes with seafood stuff as well. That's why lagers also go with seafood stuff.
I was like, are we playing Wordle?
No, we're not. That's how I learned it. Ales, and reds and whites and lagers. All right,
Got it.
3-letter words. In any
Got it.
case, let's get to the topic of the conversation. Stanley
Yes, sir.
comes from the field of data, I think. Last time
I
we talked
guess.
about it, yeah.
Yeah, no. Why don't I start with kind of like so I think this episode is gonna differ very greatly from I think Addie's episode in terms of I think based on what I hear anyway, like last week, Addie kind of knew she kind of wanted to do this, and then she like really put her foot down and like pursued a career,
Right,
and I'm like that's really admirable, but that's also something definitely not what I've done, because I think my entire career path was like I was very much pushed by my peers, like the people around me, to do better, and I just didn't know what better was. No, actually. And then eventually I just kind of like lucked out and then landed in positions where I continue to be pushed by my peers to do better. And then eventually I just get to a point now where I'm like, okay, I guess I'm in this particular field just because my experience is this, even though I was never educated for it and I never pursued it.
I mean, here we go again with the whole luck thing. But
Yeah, but like,
I guess we'll get into it, right? But yeah, sorry, go on.
No. So yeah, you know what? Let's just get into it. I think it makes sense for me to start with me as a student, right? Like I was never like really hardworking or anything like that. I definitely wasn't Addy. Like I definitely failed multiple courses as a kid. Like I am a bad Asian. My mom and I actually joked about this yesterday. We were like, oh, like my mom was telling me about my nephew. He's like first grade, and he's like, oh, like he's not doing so well in math. I'm like, Mom, who in our family is good at math? And she's like, you're right, you failed math. I'm like, yes, I did.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, I was a bad Asian. And then I was always just kind of like a mediocre student. Like I wasn't a bad student. I never like flunked out of school or anything, but just like I was like middle of the pack, nothing standoutish. And then I think until grade 12. So for people that are not familiar with the Ontario schooling system, at grade 12 is where high school students basically like really like lock down their grades and then submit them for university applications.
Right.
Depending on your grade, you get into good or okay university. There's no bad universities here, I think. But that's kind of just how it works. And then so in 12th grade, I've always been like a 60-ish, like low 70s student.
Dang.
Yeah, no, like I didn't work hard. I wanted to play games.
I hear you.
It also sounds like it wasn't that you couldn't achieve it. It was just if you wanted to, you could. It's just you're like, I got better things to do.
Yeah, but it's just like my mentality was also like I don't know, homework was boring,
No, I agree.
But yeah, but anyway, in 12th grade, I really was like, you know what, I gotta like put we can swear. We've sworn on this
We
on this
have.
podcast.
I have.
Okay.
I have.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So I was like, yeah, I gotta like, put my shit together and like,
Mm.
get into a decent university, all that. And then so again, it was always because of people around me. They're like, oh my God, freaking out about university, freaking out about my marks. Like, what do I do for extra credit? I was like, oh, maybe I should do that too. So anyway, long story short, I worked really hard. I got into a very decent university. I moved to Waterloo, did that, right? Like did the whole
Man.
thing.
Yep.
And while I was in university, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. Like my mom always wanted to push me into finance because, so my parents are business people. So they feel like, working in a finance company means stability, right? So they want me to push into that field. And then I was like, I guess, I mean, like I have a good sense of it, but like I'm not ever very good at it. But anyway, luckily for me, I had the experience of Waterloo, which gave me co-op opportunities. So I went to school for 4 months, and then I went to work full time, and I got paid for 4 months, and then I got to get a taste of what real world work was like. And so I did this for five and a half years, and then after I graduated, couldn't find a job.
Wait, they didn't hire you after your co-op?
No, so unfortunately, the last 2 co-ops that I did was with Research in Motion, which is now known as BlackBerry, and it literally was there for like the downfall of this company. Yeah, like I was
ship
there.
sinking, right?
I was there while the ship sank, and I was like, oh, I can see it. Anyway, we had talks, and I think I learned a lot of career lessons very early on in my life, where they verbally gave me like, hey, like, why don't we get you started like at this position, whatever. And then I didn't hear from them for like 2 months, and then turns out what happened was the person who gave me that verbal offer actually got let go, and just nobody told me. And so I was kind of waiting, and I went on like literally hundreds of interviews, because I didn't know what to do, right? Like, as a student, everybody wanted you because everyone wants to look good helping students, but no one cares about you if you're not a student anymore. And I feel like, anyway, all these lessons learned. Eventually, I was like, I don't want to do nothing. I was very depressed. I stayed at home for a week. This is pre-COVID, right? So I didn't leave my room for a whole week. I got takeout the entire week. I didn't shower. I was so gross. No, seriously, I remember this so clearly. I was so gross, and then one day I woke up and I'm like, I'm gross. And then I showered and I applied to Starbucks, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna work here for like a year. I gave my hiring manager, I'm like, I can commit to you, because I know you're not looking for someone to work here for 2 weeks, get a new job and leave, right? Like they're not gonna hire anybody like that. So I told them, I'm like, I'll commit like a full year for you, and I will stay here, and I guarantee you I will not leave, but you also have to let me go when it's time for me to leave.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You're so honest up front.
I know, right?
I very much gave them the expectation, because I don't want to rub people the wrong way, like I don't want it to be like, oh, like I'm totally committed and then leave after 4 months. I feel like that's like such a shitty thing to do. So anyway, that's what I did. I worked at Starbucks for a whole year, and then at the very, very end of that year, through some connections, I was able to get myself into a very low paying but office job. Yeah.
A desk job.
Yeah, a desk job. So at the end of that year, I transitioned out of Starbucks, and then I started working at this full-time job. And what happened was, actually, I got this job like I think 9 months in. So my manager was very good about it. He's like, you know what, like you've worked really hard, whatever. Just help me work on weekends until Christmas season, and then you can go, because he's like, we're not going to be able to hire seasonal staff. So I'm like, yeah, no problem. So I worked Monday to Friday at my desk job, and then Thursday nights, Friday nights, all day Saturday, all day Sunday at Starbucks. So 7 days a week. Yeah.
Remember how busy you were? It was so hard to see you during that time.
It was insane. Like I didn't really have friends, and when I did have friends, they had to come visit me at the store.
I remember that. I would literally go, because otherwise we would not see you. Like you'd be like, okay, I'm at Starbucks at this time on this day, and we'd be like, okay, we'll come by.
And then I give them free drinks.
Yeah, I love that.
What the heck? I'd go every time.
Yeah. But yeah, and then, anyway, so that's kind of like how I started. And then with this new desk job that I landed, I was kind of like an analyst. I didn't really know what analyst meant at the time. I just feel like, oh, you know what, that's kind of a cool title. I can do this, right? So I did that. I got paid $32,000 a year.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which
Isn't that
even
below minimum? I'm pretty sure that's below minimum now. I think
no,
minimum.
so
Sorry, go on.
no, I don't. So I don't think it was below minimum, but it was basically the same amount of money I made at Starbucks.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was like very close to minimum. And how this company worked was they were essentially a contracting company. So they would actually get my full regular pay, which I think at the time would have been around like $62,000 a year. They would take a portion of that and give me the rest. So knowing that I got paid 32, they probably got the other half of my salary.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah. Anyway, I couldn't complain, right? I didn't have a
Right,
job
right,
and I
right.
needed to start somewhere.
Mhm.
So I did that. And then turns out I had to work eventually I had to work weekends. It was just like a really bad situation where I think I averaged almost 55 hours a week
Wow.
at this job. Yeah, it was really crazy.
Maybe they knew that
Um,
you were so desperate for a position. I guess that
I
they
think
they
so.
might have taken advantage of it,
100%.
right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Everybody else in that company who I worked with, who are like my colleagues, are basically in the same position, right? And then we talked about our situation, how we got hired, our recruiting process, and all of that. So anyway, again, another career lesson, right? Like interviews are important.
Yeah.
And then anyway, yeah. So I worked there for a year, and in my head, I was like, I got paid, it's fine, right? Like I'm getting experience, I'm getting exposure. And then a big event of why I wanted to leave that company was because A, well, I wasn't getting paid enough. And B was I finally got to a point where I made enough connections where I can finally say, hey, there's an opportunity opening for a junior project manager. And literally the title was junior, right? And I was like, I'm the perfect person for this. I am
Right.
certified in project management, right? I've done project managing my whole life,
Mhm.
right? Because through volunteer, like you, John, who went to I think church and church like Sunday school and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
I had something similar growing up as well, and so I was like, I'm the perfect person for this job. So I went and interviewed. A week later, they're like, unfortunately, you didn't get the job.
Of course.
I was like, oh, that's okay. And then one of my colleagues who accidentally said something bad during like a VP meeting, like he literally called the VP's son, who also works in the company, but he didn't know, some bad names.
Oh
Mhm.
no.
So anyway, he was like very promptly let go. And it was a shock to all of us. And this guy was like really amazing. He was really good at his job. He taught me a lot.
Mhm.
And then we actually became really close friends. So anyway, after he got let go, he called me up and he said, hey, Stan, I need to let you know why you actually didn't get that job. And I was like, oh my God, what's happening? Is this like tea being spilled?
100%.
Yeah. And I was like, what's happening? So anyway, he told me that through conversations with our boss, or our contracting company boss,
Mhm.
the feedback to him was they needed someone who can grow a mustache.
No.
Verbatim.
Stop.
Verbatim.
You're
Sorry, is
kidding
this
me.
like is this like
No.
the 70s? What it like?
No. This was I don't know, not even like maybe like 8 years ago now.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was shocked. I was like, I've never experienced anything like this before. Like throughout my co-op experiences and throughout my previous work experiences and stuff like that, I'm very used to working in a very culturally white company.
Mhm.
Like everyone around me is Caucasian, everyone around me is very North Americanized, and me being, even though I've lived here a long time, my circle of friends and my family and what I participated in was always very like Chinese centric, and then so when I heard that, I was really shocked. I was like, there's no way. And then so I decided to approach my boss, who's the same person, to confirm this information. I'm like, hey, so and so, I need you to be honest with me because this is kind of a big deal for me. And being I think an ethnic like junior in your team, I need to
Minority,
know
right?
the truth. Yeah. And then he's like, so he confirmed it. He's like, yeah, that's what they said. And like while we're not getting paid a lot, like I think the support system's actually fairly good within that contracting company. Like, my boss and I, we built a good relationship just because I think I also gave him a lot of business. So
Right.
anyway, he was very honest with me. He's like, yeah, this is just how sometimes the industry goes. And he was trying to coach me through this experience, right? But in my head, I was just like obviously fuming. I was like, are you freaking serious?
I am repressing my anger right now because that angers me so much. Like that makes no
Yeah.
sense.
It makes no sense, but I think I think it's just like that's just the reality of it, right? And I think through that experience, it carried a lot of, I think, my drive going forward. Anyway, so like literally within that week, I sent out, I think, more than 200 resumes.
Oh shoot.
Wow.
That
I
that
cannot.
that lit the fire in you, huh?
Yeah,
You're just like,
I was very like motivated, and literally within 2 weeks, like went on a billion interviews, like not a billion, but like I went on a handful of interviews, and I was very lucky where, again, one of my close friends, and this is where luck again came in, right? One of my very close friends, she was like, hey, my team's actually hiring at RBC. Do you want to just come and, you know, talk to my boss and see if you're a good fit? And, you know, if it's not, no pressure. You know, it was like a very low pressure situation. So I was
pretty
like, yeah,
casual,
of course.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. I was like happy to do so. I went, talked to the manager, you know, talk about the work. And I, again, very luckily for me, my friend really vouched for me. She said that, you know, so I found this out after, but basically, essentially, after my interview was finished, the boss asked her and one other of her colleagues, it's like, hey, out of all the candidates we interview, who would you want to work with? My friend said me.
Duh.
Yeah. And well, like she didn't have to, right?
Not
Like,
true.
she
Fair enough.
absolutely didn't have to. And then so I think because of that, and because of how his management style was, he decided to hire me. And this was like literally 2 weeks after that incident at my original company. So anyway, I ended up leaving.
Of course.
Thank
Yeah, I
God.
ended up leaving. And then my salary actually doubled. So I went from $32,000
Yay.
to $64,000. So I was shocked. I asked for $55,000 during the
Wow.
interview.
Yeah.
I really lowballed myself. And then again, like a lot of, I think, people helping me along the way. The person, the HR person, like kind of screening me, she literally was like, okay, I'm gonna have to talk to you off record about this. You need to ask for more money.
Oh shoot.
Oh, I
If
respect
you ask
that.
for this, yeah, she's like, if you don't ask for at least this amount, they're not even gonna consider you because they'll feel like you are not qualified enough to do this job.
Wow.
That's what she said to me. So I like really took that to heart, and I, you know, originally I was gonna ask for 50,000 because like I started at 32, right? So I was like, man, 50K was like a huge jump for
20K.
me.
Yeah, 20K jump.
Yeah. And then she's like, no, you gotta ask for more money. So I was like, okay. And then I asked like, oh, maybe like 50 to 60 would be great during my interview. They ended up giving me 64, which is way more than I asked, right? So for that position, I didn't negotiate my salary. I just heard the number and I'm like, yeah, I'm on.
Sold. Where do I sign?
Yeah, exactly. Again, later on finding out that I probably should have negotiated, but again,
Wait,
not
you
a
gotta
big
you
deal.
gotta had more?
I could have had more. So what turned out happening was they also hired another girl the same time as me. They were originally only supposed to hire one position, but turns out this other girl was a superstar. And so this is what I mean. If my friend didn't vouch for me, I wouldn't have been on that team. So again, like, I think the theme continues, right? People around me lifting me up, and then people around me really pushing me to be my best and like try harder. So anyway, this girl got signed up the same time as me. We both show up on the first day of work at the same time, and we were both surprised that there was another person starting with us because our original idea was we were the only hire, but turns out was not the case. Yeah, was not the case. So anyway, I worked there, and so essentially the contents of my job was just, you know, analytics, reporting, and stuff like that. Again, I didn't really know what an analyst did. I kind of just like
you learn on the
did
job,
work.
right?
Yeah, like I just did the work that they asked me to do, and you know, I learned a lot of structure. And again, from this girl who used to be a consultant, she's all about like, hey, there's kind of like a playbook of how you do certain things. This is a playbook of how you do certain analytics. So for certain problems, you do it this way. For other problems, you can maybe approach it a different way. But there's like industry standards for these. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. So I started learning a lot on this job.
Oh, okay.
And then,
it wasn't a bad thing.
No, it wasn't a bad thing, but it was hella stressful because at the beginning, she would basically take all the stuff that was assigned to me and she would do it herself because I would not do it right.
Oh.
Wait, you're talking about the girl that was hired with you?
With
the
me,
superstar.
yeah.
The superstar.
The superstar, yeah. And so at the beginning, we actually didn't have a really good relationship because I felt really insecure and I was like projecting a lot of my insecurities, right?
Well, no, I mean, there's ways to create rapport, right? Like it's not like here, oh, you're doing it wrong, let me just do it. Like that's not a healthy environment, right? Like She
Right.
clearly,
Absolutely.
because if she wanted you to succeed, there would be so many approaches to
I
helping a peer and to get them to level up. You know.
I
Sorry, go
think
on.
I
Yeah.
understand her position because
Yep.
as an overachiever, when even in school in group projects, it to our mind, it's like, you know what, it's faster if I just did it rather than teaching
Yep.
you. So that's probably
Fair,
what she thought. To
fair.
Yeah.
get to the point where it's like I should teach you and mentor you so I don't have to do double the work, it actually takes a very high level of maturity, which I presume at that point, you're both young. She probably didn't
Yeah.
have that yet. So at the
Yeah.
beginning, that's why she would just take it and do it herself.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
And
Fair enough.
keeping in mind she came from a consulting background, right?
Mm.
So consulting, for those who don't know, consulting is a very cutthroat field, especially when you start out,
Mhm.
right? Because if you don't hit certain numbers, if you don't get certain billable hours, like you're out like the next minute, and literally like 100 people are waiting out the door to take your position. And so I understand where she came from, right? But just from my perspective, I was like, oh man, I look bad and this sucks.
Mhm.
So we started our relationship really rocky, and eventually we got to a point where there was just this one huge event that happened at work that there was no going around. Like she could not do this by herself. She needed other people's help, and then we actually came together as a team. So me, my friend, and the superstar, we actually had to work together, and we worked really hard. And anyway, we got past that particular project, and then literally through that time, like we like cried in some office rooms, in some like literally we had to like close the door, and then we were just like, I'm so stressed out. I slept for 2 hours last night. We are trying to put this together. There's no support on our team. Our manager had also left us, by the way. At that point, he got
Ooh.
promoted, and then our team was just kind of left stranded.
Damn.
Yeah, so it was like a really just like trying time. But anyway, we got past that, and then again through that I learned a lot. Eventually we just got to a point where we respect each other. Like she knows I have my strengths, and I know she has her strengths, and then we're just like, hey, you know what, let's just not step on each other's toes.
Mhm.
Let's openly communicate and then try to get things out the door, because at the end of the day, like I'm not here to screw you, you know. Like
Right,
I'm
right.
here to do a job. And then so we eventually got to that mutual understanding.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then I think what really made me kind of grow up as a person, at least in the professional world, was first of all that one incident from the job before, where I was told, well, I wasn't told, but my feedback was they needed someone who could grow a mustache to do this job. And so I had a lot of anger in me,
For sure.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then one day I went into a meeting room with me and the superstar, and because we kind of work on the same level, we usually figure out like, okay, hey, you lead this one, I'll lead this one, so then there's continuity, right?
Mhm.
We walked into this room. This very high level, like director level, senior director level person walks in, introduces himself, shakes my hand, sits down, starts talking to me. The entire 15 minutes, he didn't even look at her.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, hi,
Dang.
this is so and so. She actually will be taking on she's actually the lead for your project. I'm just here to take notes. I said that at the very beginning.
Mhm.
That didn't matter. Kept talking to me, gave me all the requirements. This is what I needed done, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, again, like you need to be talking to her,
Mhm.
right? She will be helping you. She will be making sure that this particular endeavor is a success. Nope, nothing. At the end of the 30 minutes, he stood up, shook my hand, left.
Oh.
Didn't even look at her.
God.
And then I look at her, I'm like, what just happened? And then she goes, happens in the industry. And that just meant that this is, and this is like because I'm a dude, right? I never get to experience
Mhm.
this level of sexism. Like,
Right.
yes, I get discriminated against because I look young. I get discriminated against because I'm Asian. I get discriminated against because I'm gay. But my gender was never something that I had to be aware of. And then I immediately understood why she had to be the way she was.
Mhm.
Like, I think in that very instant and in that very moment, I'm like, I understand.
You
And
get
then
it.
so I get it. And then I'm like, this is just how the world is, like especially in corporate world. And because I worked in IT, this is just how it was, And then so that was like a big stepping stone, I think, in my own maturity and my own like mental growth.
Mhm.
So anyway, I ended up working at RBC for about 5 years. I ended up hiring a lot of people. I ended up mentoring a lot of people. I still talk to some of my students today,
Oh,
yeah, like they call me and they're like, hey, I got a job offer, this is what it entails, like what do you think I should do? Literally, I got a call like this last week,
wow.
and I feel good, right? And I'm like, I think I'm really hoping to shape like young people's mindsets and futures, because they're good like students.
That's admirable. Yeah.
And like I'm like obviously very privileged to be in this position where they want to call me up. But anyway, so that's what I really ended up enjoying. As I worked at RBC, I transitioned more from a analyst role into a more project management role. Right.
Okay.
So I started managing a lot of projects. They're all IT related. So I had to learn again very quickly what the whole world of IT is about. Like I didn't go to school for it. I went to school for economics. Right. The most like technical thing I could do was like, when your computer is kind of like acting weird, you have to hold your power button for 5 seconds and it just
Yeah.
shuts off by heart. That's all I know how to do.
That's so funny.
Have you tried turning it on and off again? You're that guy.
I'm that guy.
Is the green light on? Is there lights on your
Yeah.
computer?
Yeah, I didn't know how to do anything else. I didn't know what a database was. I didn't know what a data center was. I didn't know what the cloud was. I was like, cloud?
I
The
know.
heck?
Like
You know?
cumulonimbus? Like what are we?
Yeah,
like-
no, nothing. Like nothing. I know nothing about like security. I know nothing. Like I know nothing of nothing, essentially.
You went from that
and-
to building projects.
And so I had to learn, because I was like, I need to be able to manage these people. So like I can't just take their like, if I go to some tech developer and I'm like, how long are you going to take to do this? And they're like, a year. I'm not going to take them at their face value of 1 year. I'm like,
Right.
why does it take a year? So I literally just, again, looking at the people around me, looking at the opportunities available, I sat a lot of people down and had a lot of one-on-ones and be like, hey, again, very honest and upfront, like, hey, I don't know what this is. Can you teach me? Can you like literally draw it on the board and tell me if I need to do like as an example, like if I need to migrate a database from A to B, what usually needs to happen? Architecturally, what happens behind the scenes? What do you need to do? And I did a lot of this work. So I learned the industry very, very quickly. Like it's all piecemeal. I didn't go through formal educations or anything like that. And eventually I just got to manage a lot of specifically data projects, right? It's like, hey, like data migration, data governance. If we need to clean certain sets of data, then, I'm again tasked to manage those projects.
Wow.
And that's kind of how I ended up in where I am today. Like again, I never asked for these projects; they were just given to me, and I just kind of just did it because it had to get done, And so this is what I mean by I think Addie and I contrast a lot in terms of she knew, right? Like there's an end goal that she wanted to gun for, and then so she just like literally she's like, okay, here's the mark, like blinders on, dash dash dash,
Book it.
Yeah, and then I think for me, which I'm sure some other people can relate to, is I honestly didn't know what I want to do in my life. I didn't. I never thought I'd end up in the industry or the position that I am today. But here I am, right?
That is...
I think that's a common theme between us three. The
Yeah.
whole not really sure of what I wanted to do after high school.
Mhm.
Or just
Yeah.
with our lives in general, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I think a lot of people do relate to that because while I kind of had like the big idea of like, yeah, I want to eventually go to law school, a lot of my friends around me were just as lost. I remember like graduation year, people were like, I have no idea what to do. So like, just like you, kind of like falling into positions or like, looking at their network, looking at their friends and be like, hey, I don't know, do you know someone that might have something interesting? And I think that's very relevant.
Yeah. And then so after my tenure of 5 years at RBC, I was approached by a recruiter when I wasn't even looking for a new job. He asked me like, hey, we have this opportunity available. Are you interested? And I said no. I originally said no. I was like, no, I'm not interested. I'm like pretty happy where I am. He goes, well, I think it's a really good fit for you. Why don't you just have a chat? No commitment, like no pressure, just a chat. And I said, okay.
And they got you. All right. So.
Yeah, and like no, literally, and then like in my head, I was like, I'm not gonna go, but it's always good to make connections in the industry because like I think the data world is so small right now. It's like very tight knit, so it's always good to like know other people and grow your network. And then I didn't prepare for the interview at all. Zero.
Well, yeah,
Um,
because I mean,
right,
for
because I
you, it didn't
wasn't.
really
Yeah,
matter, right? Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So like I literally just like I went in, I chatted with the person for like an hour, and then yeah, they're like, all right, well, great chat. I thought that was it. It was like at the beginning of COVID. It was like January of COVID year, so like 2 months before shutdown.
In 2020,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, nothing's gonna come out of this. 2 weeks later, they call me up again. They're like, hey, want to chat with you again and want to bring a couple other people into the chat because I think you had some like interesting ideas that
Uh-huh.
were brought up. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, sure. Chatted with a couple more people, and they're like, oh, that's great. Cool. Didn't hear from them for like a month, and I didn't follow up. Nothing. It was very minimal from my part.
Right, right.
Mhm.
And then so we very promptly went into lockdown after that. And then after the lockdown, I was like, they're not gonna hire me during a like pandemic lockdown.
Mhm.
This office, so I live in Toronto, but this office was in Kingston, Ontario, which by train is 3.5 hours.
Oh
Mhm.
my.
And then so I'm just like, no way. Originally they're like, oh, if we brought you on, like we would get you to come in like twice a week, we would pay for your accommodation, we just need you to be in the office twice a week and you can work from home for 3 days of the week, blah blah blah. They gave me an offer like 3 weeks into lockdown,
Wow.
That's
and I was like,
crazy.
are you sure? Are you sure? And then they're like, we didn't expect this either, but we really want you to come on board. I was like, okay, let me think about it. Anyway, the offer was really good. It was a lot more money than what I had been making, but I think more importantly, when I was talking to them, and again, because this was such a low stake interview for me, I was very honest about what I wanted to do.
You're very much yourself.
Yeah, I told them, I'm like, hey, listen, here where I am right now. Here are some of the projects I am doing, but I wish I could do these things, but because of the position, because of the hierarchy, because of the layers of bureaucracy, I
Mhm.
couldn't do certain things, right? But if I were to do it, I wanted to do these things. And if I were to come on board in your firm, these are the level of things that I want to be able to do because I don't have, like, I know these are the steps. I just haven't done it.
Right,
Right. So I just need to be able to do it. So anyway, they apparently like that. So
I would have loved
I
that
decided
too.
decided to bring me on. So
Jump ship.
yeah. And then so I had to give a very awkward phone call to my manager and like, hey, I'm so sorry, but this is what's happening.
Uh-huh.
It's just like I can't even hug you goodbye. I'm like, I'm sorry.
That's crazy.
Anyway, yeah, that's kind of where I ended up today. And I think throughout my career journey, I really realized like what I like to do, which is not work. Like I think work is really boring
Mhm.
because eventually you learn to a point where you kind of like recycle the same projects over and
Mhm.
over.
Mhm.
But I do think that in being in a work environment, what's interesting is to be able to, for me at least, to be able to like teach and influence others, not to say like, oh, like you need to be like, malicious or like this is how you get ahead in your career. But
Mhm.
I think being the minority that I am, I think all of us are like triple minorities, right? We're all
Mhm.
millennials, we're all people of color,
Mhm.
right?
Is being a millennial a minority?
Yeah, absolutely. Still
Oh yeah.
today, yes, in the workforce, absolutely, millennials are still, we're slowly becoming the majorities as boomers retire,
You know what?
but we need them
you're
to
right, yeah.
retire.
Mhm.
We
Right.
need them to retire so we can advance in our careers, right?
In our fields,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, and then maybe less so John, but like Addie being a woman and me being gay, these are all strikes against us. And I think for me to show up to work and then representing myself in the best light, I think it's important to have that level of representation and be very like open and candid about who you are. Not like I am gay waving a big rainbow flag in front of you every day, right?
Totally.
But
Totally.
like I think advocating for like different types of like charity organizations or activities, or even like just showing up and saying, hey, like this is me.
Mhm.
And so people don't keep having that same sort of like perception of, oh, like this is how millennials are, because the stereotype for millennials, like we're all lazy, right?
Yeah.
It's true,
Lazy,
We've all heard it.
entitled.
Yeah, but then I'm like, man, I work my ass off and I want people to see that. And I think that's like a big chip on my shoulder too, because everyone's like, wow, like then you're very precise and concise in terms of when you do a presentation, what you want to say. And that's literally because in my head, I'm thinking to myself, I can't be wrong. If I'm wrong, people are gonna use that against me and be like, oh, you know what? He's just a kid. He doesn't know what he's talking. And because I've heard that before, right? So he doesn't know what he's talking about, and then I lose credibility. And so this is something that I had to work on, right? Because again, because of my look, I don't look like I should be in the position that I'm in today, right?
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah,
You look like the boss baby. Got it. Yeah.
No, people mistake me for co-op students all the time.
Oh my gosh.
Right? And then so they won't take me seriously. They won't take my meetings and stuff like that. So I have to just show up and, you know, be correct, right? And then I think like as part of my career journey, this is really what I had to internalize and be like, okay, well, this is how I need to present myself. And I think this is also why I take myself very seriously most of the time.
Yeah, right. I'm just kidding. Yeah.
No, it's true. It's true. Come on, everyone knows it. Like, even my friends, my closest friends are like, Stan is probably the most anal one out of us all. And it's like, do I like it? I mean,
it's okay.
That's just who you are.
Yeah, but it is what it is, right? And like, it's just part of, I think, my upbringing and who I came to be. But anyway, that's kind of my career journey and career story. I know I kind of just like talked at you for 20 minutes.
No.
Or more than 20 minutes, like 15 minutes. Jesus.
No, this is great. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. There's so many more things that I want to ask you about too. And like
what?
I feel like it'd be appropriate to go over a few things that you were talking about. I mean, especially like the representation, right? That is clearly lacking. And just the blatant, you know, we hear about these things, these isms that is around us, right? And I don't know, maybe it's a millennial thing to be like, you know what, we're working on it. It can't be that bad, right? But actually, wait until you see it and you're like, damn, it is actually that bad and it still exists. And
yeah. I think it's important to kind of just recognize the circle you're in, right? Like if you've been within a environment that you are very comfortable in for a long time, maybe you just don't get to see outside, right? So again, like I said before, I was always very like Chinese culture leaning. Like I watch a lot of Chinese shows, I hang around with like, you know, Asian friends. And so when I go to a work setting where it's, you know, predominantly Caucasian people, it's like a different environment and a different vibe, right?
The culture is definitely different, right?
Yeah, it's so different. And then so sometimes people just say things without meaning to say something. And again, it's because they don't think that that's a strike against you, or they don't think that that's, you know, a bad thing to say.
It's not
right?
offensive. Yeah.
Right. But like, you know, I'm not being like, oh no, you can't say certain things. But I am like, you know, again, trying to represent myself in a broader light, right? Like I'm not trying to take up more space, but I'm just trying to be visible to say, hey, I am here. This is who I am.
You exist, right?
Yeah. And like me as an individual, but not me as, you know, me as Asian Stan or me as gay Stan or like whatever, right?
Right.
And I think, you know, that level of representation is very important, and especially a year like 2021 where, you know, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we finally got our first Asian superhero, right? And like, if you don't really think about it, it's not a big deal.
You're talking about Mulan, right?
Yeah. Mulan. The she all of a sudden has magical powers for whatever reason.
Oh my gosh! Don't get me started.
Yeah, but if you are someone who is very aware of what's going on around you, it's a huge step, right? And so I always encourage my students, you know, step up, right? Like when you become manager, when you become a person in an influential position, right? Like you have to remember that you are representing not only yourself, but your community, right? Like whatever community that you choose to be a part of, or even don't choose to be a part of, but because visibly you are just part of this community, like I am Chinese, I will be part of the Chinese community. Like, you know, you have to just represent for them.
Right.
Yeah, we've had this conversation too. Like when I was talking about starting my firm and like what to name my firm, there was like a huge conversation we had. It's like, oh, do I name it something like make up a word, right? Like oh, it's
Yeah.
going to be Maple Law. Just because, like, if you see a Chinese name in the firm name, some people might turn away. But then we had this conversation where it's like, I don't want to stand on a soapbox to be like, I'm Chinese and I'm a lawyer, therefore you should all come to me. No, not that. But the simple act of even having my name in the firm name and then doing what I do, doing the kind of good work that I am, being the kind of lawyer that I am, I want that to become my brand without needing to give a monologue, make certain posts on Instagram. It's like, you know what? Just by existing, just by acknowledging my name, acknowledging what I look like as a female Asian, and then still, you know, doing law, being a lawyer, to us it's like, you know what, that's representation. It doesn't have to be, you know, too overt, but just like
Yeah,
you
she's
said.
not. Yeah.
Too on the nose.
Exactly,
if
yeah.
you-
Like, you know Adeline not as an Asian lawyer, but you know Adeline as a great lawyer.
As a lawyer, yeah.
Thank
As a
you.
lawyer,
Yeah,
she's a
exactly.
great lawyer, right?
I mean, I
And
don't know.
so-
She hasn't handled any of my cases, so I can't. I
She's
can't.
one of mine. She's really great. For anyone
Oh.
listening, highly recommend.
Google them up. You'll
Yeah,
find
yeah.
the firm, and then there'll be an influx of clients now, and then
I
Yeah,
welcome
yeah.
it. Please reach out to me.
Over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's important to touch on, but also, like you mentioned as well, it's like there's obviously a line that you have to balance yourself in, where as to not be so
In your face.
exactly so in your face about it, right? It's not about, hey, look at me, this is me, I'm different, or I'm not what you might think I am to be, or that I represent these group of people, you must recognize us. It's also not about that. It's about just
Absolutely.
it's about just making yourself known, and be like, hey, this is me and this is who I am, and they're like, yeah, okay, cool, and let's just, you know, move on with our lives, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
let's not make it about anything else but me as a person,
Yeah.
right? I think that's also very important.
And I love that your career story is like a movie character arc. You went from, like, you know, a low paying job and then experiencing that first kind of like discrimination, racism, and then growing to where you are now, where you're now in a position of influence, where you're mentoring people. It's like such a beautiful character arc for you, you know? Like, if you were a movie, this is like the Tony Stark of your
If you
career.
put it that way.
He even had a moment of catharsis. I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys, yeah, right, where it's like you had that release of like, all right, this job, this consulting job that's taking half of my yearly salary, you know what, see ya, didn't want to be ya, you,
Done.
right? And that evolution, and you also recognizing, right, like, I also think that, I don't know, as far as what we're talking about, like the thing that lit the fire in you is to be like, hey, I need to do something else, right? Or I need to do something with my life that may not necessarily be the end goal, but a means to an end kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like we hit those, and we get to those. I mean, you two, especially, as you've explained it. And I think a part of that like the timing and the circumstances and the emotional baggage that comes with, you know, I think there's stages to get there. Hopefully not everybody gets to be like as dramatic, or you know, or get into like such a desperate moment before that hits them. I mean, I'm sure there are people out there who got their enlightenment, essentially, right? And found that, hey, you know what, I got to do something with my life, and I got to be better, right?
Yeah, and I mean, like, I just want to maybe step in here, like have a step, and just say, like, you know, it's like, obviously with me retelling my experiences and doing this for a podcast, like, yeah, there are definitely like flares of drama that like it seems like it's there, and it's also because of how I like stitched the story together or whatever. But like John said, like, honestly, it wasn't like a dramatic moment where like I sat there fuming, like I was like crying, whatever. No, like it literally was just like, oh man, well, like that fucking sucks. Like I can't grow a mustache, that's why I didn't get a job. Fuck this place, you know?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
so it was just like, all right, well, like I guess it's time to move on. And like honestly, in the moment, like within those like actual 2 hours of things happening, it was just like nothing to write home about. It was just kind of regular day, you know? But
everybody likes,
yeah, I know,
sparkles, right?
yeah. So hopefully you guys enjoyed listening to the story, but
Everybody
like
appreciates the
drama.
hyperbole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think John kind of got it, right? It was
Mhm.
just like, a moment in life where like this is a moment of realization. And I think the most important thing, at least from my career, is like there's like certain moments in your career I think that defines you as a professional, and those are important to kind of hold on to, right? And then as you grow your career and as you kind of move on from like maybe industry to industry or just level to level within your current role or whatever, it's important to kind of like keep those moments fresh in your head and then understand like why you are the way you are today.
Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
really like that it's not like you didn't become angry. You kind of, it became your motivation, but you didn't lean into it and be like, well, now every job and every position I'm going to do, my entire, model is I'm Asian and I'm gay, I'm going to do this.
True,
You just
true.
kind of used it as a pushing kind of momentum for you, but you didn't, like I said, like you didn't stand on a soapbox for it. So I think that's very admirable, because I think a lot of people can very easily become angry and just hate life, or like use that as like their tagline forever, but you didn't do that.
Yeah, you didn't let it you didn't let it eat away at you.
Hmm.
Where it's like, also, I mean, I don't think that that's a healthy kind of mindset anyway to
No,
begin
it's
with.
not.
Although, it's a little hypocritical of me to say, but that's that there's definitely sometimes that me personally have used that kind of mentality to push myself to be like, you know what, I'll show you, like
Oh, yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. Don't get me wrong. Lots of times where like I still experience this sometimes today, right? Like it's when something kind of like doesn't really go my way or something like a very pointed comment's kind of thrown my way, I
Mhm.
still think to myself, I'm like, oh, is it because I'm Asian, or is it because this person knows that I'm gay that
Right,
they
right.
say this? Like it happens to me still on like a weekly basis, right?
Mhm.
But like you guys said, like I literally just had to like remove myself from this situation, like maybe come back to it tomorrow and really just tell myself like, regardless, even if it is that situation, right? Like you're here doing your best, you're here trying to get a job done, and you're here to move forward, right? If this person wants to linger on this whatever issue, then kind of their problem.
That's on them, right? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
totally, man. I mean, like, I remember too, that was kind of my motto as well. It's like being on the job, right? It's like, look, my coworkers, I'm not really here to make you happy. If I do, props, but I'm here to do a job kind of thing, right? And
Yeah.
if, as long as I'm doing this job properly and as long as my boss is happy, then if you want to be bitter about it, if you want to be petty about it, that's honestly on you. But I'm here to do my job, and I think that's a very important thing to focus on as well.
Absolutely, which actually brings me to a excellent transition. I maybe taken up a little bit more time than I thought I would. So in next week's episode, we will be diving into John's career
Yeah,
history.
bunny ears career history. Good lord.
Listen,
If we were to give the folks a little sneak a peek about what we were talking about, I am nowhere near or behind or close to any of these two where they have, I would like to say,
Whoa.
established. No, it's true. I would like to say that you guys have established yourself into a stable ground, a with a concrete base, with a solid foundation. That's the word.
all right,
And
so John's not very good about talking about himself. So
Very
Adeline,
much.
next week, the plan is for us to just ask him a bunch of questions because,
Mhm.
as you and I know, John's a very impressive individual, and
wait, wait, wait.
he doesn't take compliments very well at all. So
Yep.
he's not going to be talking to himself in the level of impressiveness that I honestly feel like we both see him as.
Wait,
Yeah.
Right?
wait,
So
stop.
as a quick preview, yes, John doesn't work in an office or
Stop.
whatever, but that means nothing. Okay,
Pause.
so
Agreed.
he has accomplished many things in his life that I personally find very impressive, and
Pause.
I'm like, holy
Please.
shit, dude.
Can we stop talking for a second? Listen,
And
nobody was interviewing anybody when it was Addy's turn. Nobody was interviewing when it was your turn. And nobody is interviewing. Why is it
Yeah.
all of a sudden an interview on my part, huh?
Because I love talking, so both y'all could have turned off your mic for an hour, and that hour would have been full, no problem. And then with Stan, like Stan, again, he's concise. He knows what he wants to talk about. He has his talking points, so we know he'll get through it. But for you, we know you are the ultimate representative of underselling yourself. So we
Yes,
have
okay.
to interview you. Otherwise, you're just gonna skim by, and you're just
That
gonna,
is totally false. Fake news.
100%. You wouldn't
That's okay.
drive by your career in 10 minutes.
We will see what happens next week. I, for a fact, have a couple of points I
Oh
absolutely
my
want to
God.
ask you about. So if I don't hear any of them during next week's podcast, I absolutely will be drilling you on some of it. And so, just to let you know, don't skim on your own career. Just
Okay, well,
let us
if I'm not
Actually, no.
available next week for a podcast, then I guess we know why.
listen. Let me say this instead of I think career maybe is not the right word.
Terminology?
Terminology for it, because I feel like career is very like it's very defined in a certain way that I don't think everybody interprets the same way. But I do feel like you have a lot of accomplishments that are, excuse me, very very worth talking about that most people would not have accomplished, right? And I think those are some of the things that I would love to know a little bit more about you, like how you arrived at those like why, like first of all, the decisions of why you decided to start doing this, and then secondly, like your progress and journey through it, and then at the end, how you felt about certain things.
I
Right?
mean,
Yeah.
according to thesaurus.com, career has words like pilgrimage, procedure, passage, progress.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
definitely a lot of that in your life, and
Yep.
I'd love to know more.
Agreed.
So anyway,
Right.
that's for next week.
That's
folks.
for next week. I may or may not be present.
You will be present. We will call you.
We know where you live.
Fortunately, you actually do know where I live. But yeah, I mean, there's still a few things that I want to say before we go. I think that's important to kind of solidify and cement this idea that that we are 3 episodes in now basically, and there's definitely a common theme that's happening between the 3 parties, and I think it's nice, and it's I appreciate it. For the people who are paying attention and are listening, and the audience that we are welcome, I hope that they could also resonate with the things that we talk about. And if there are things that they may disagree on, and things that they may find that is not a good representation of what they think, I mean, we're pretty open-minded people, and there are things that there are ways to get a hold of us as well. And I think it's also important to establish an open communication, whether that be through criticisms or compliments. I think we have to be able to see each other's perspective, not necessarily agree on it, but have an understanding as to why we see such things that certain way, based on the things that we talk about here. I hope that it paints a picture into our personalities and into our characters, that hey, there are some things that I didn't agree about that what Addy said. I don't know, maybe I want my law firm to be called like Dim Sum Law Firm to really represent, and I think there's not enough people who represents this culture. Sure, like maybe you think that, and I think that's okay too. Like, we don't have to agree on a lot of things. Maybe on Stanley's point, you would think that, oh, you know what, this is the issue why minorities aren't represented enough, because you think that we don't need to be loud about our representation. Sure,
Oh yeah.
you could believe that too, right? Like, everybody's allowed to form their own opinions, and I think what's really important is being able to respect what we stand on, right?
Yeah.
We're not here to preach and to change people's ideas and to form opinions and kind of create a propaganda that you don't fully agree on. We're here to
Share our own experience.
share our own experiences, have a glass of beer, and really get to know each other, and talk about things in life that hopefully some people are going through it as well. in the same stages or stages that they've been through, and things like that.
Yeah.
I think ultimately that was the goal of this podcast, and I think that having a more relaxed environment to talk about it and to listen is important, not only for us to be able to express ourselves, especially like I think too that us three are very much thinkers, and
Yes.
there are many things that we would want to say but might not be, on theme or on point or controversial, let's say. And again, we're not here to ruffle feathers. We're just here to have a glass of beer and have
Share
conversations.
opinions. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, and to that end, I hope everybody had a good glass of Mill Street Organic. I finished
Hey.
mine 10 minutes into the conversation, by the way.
Oh, very nice. I'm halfway through my Mill Street. By the way, if you're listening, we would love you have as sponsors.
Please.
Yeah. So Mill Street, if you're listening,
Just-
we are Beer Talks TO.
That's right.
Hit us up on social media. We would love you as a sponsor. We will absolutely drink much more of your beer and do more episodes of this podcast.
Yeah, Addy, what's the CLS?
Yeah, CLS. So it's comment, like, and subscribe to our.
Where can they find us?
Yeah, you can follow us on Beer Talks TO on Instagram. So that's at BEERTALKSTO. I got it, guys. I got it in one go.
Congrats.
Yep.
I didn't have
And-
to edit that one, yeah.
I know, right? And also, we are on TikTok because the Tickety Talks are the new thing.
We are?
I love how my two co-podcasters are like, excuse me, when did we get on TikTok? And I'm like, guys, I have video clips of our conversations, and I'm just like, just randomly throwing it on TikTok because we got to do the Tickety Talks.
We're on the Tickety Talks.
All right.
man.
Is it still follow? Is it still follow us on Tickety Talk?
Is it follow? I think it's follow.
No, it's tick us. Tick us.
Tick us on Talk.
Tick us on the talks.
Do you know how excited I was when I was able to grab Beer Talks TO on Instagram and TikTok? It's like the same name. I was very excited about that. So like, guys, again,
on the talk.
BEERTALKSTO. Beer Talks TO.
We will take you at the talk. Talk to us through the tick.
I hate this.
Listen,
See you guys
listen.
next week.
See you next week.
See you next week.
Cheers, everybody. Thanks for
Cheers.
coming.